So bless me, welcome on a top 50 ranked player, the class of 2023. He's one of the top guys in Texas as well. Malik Presley, how you doing, man?
Good, good.
For sure. Well, kind of take us through how you're feeling right now. We know you just wrapped up your sophomore year pretty much now, getting ready for AAU. Just take us through how you're feeling about your game and basketball.
Right now I'm feeling pretty good. Like I know we could have went like we were one game short of playoffs this
Mhm.
year, but I know we could have made it. But like the team, like we fought really hard and like I feel we could have done better, but like overall we're still pretty young, so you can't really be mad.
We're just kind of discussing a little bit, but we know obviously a big move recently happened. Coach Pinchback decided to move on. Kind of take us through what your thoughts are on that.
It's really like heartbreaking to see him go because me and him, like we had a really tight bond. Like me and him were cool. And like he's really done a lot for me and I thank him for that these past 2 years. But
Mhm.
um people make decisions, like God has a plan for all of us. And, to see him go, it hurts, but, he's got to keep moving forward.
Now, you heading forward, we know you're a top level player, and there are some decisions that sometimes guys make. Some guys like going to bigger schools or a prep school route, a lot of different stuff. And you being a top level guy, I'm sure schools have already started reaching out or will reaching out to you. Is that something you might consider a look at throughout the course of the next 6 or so months till the school year starts back up?
Yeah, most definitely. Like, I mean, it's not like my top priority right now, but
Mhm.
like if it came up, me and my parents, that'd probably be like something we discuss or talk about.
Absolutely. Let's kind of get into the season a little bit. There's one game I do want to touch up on for starters. Going up against a guy that's pretty much ran your area for the past 3 or 4 years in KJ Adams. We know he's heading out to Kansas now, and that's kind of a guy you want to follow suit in, a top level guy that can make it to really any school you wanted to go to. But what was that game like, just kind of playing against him and learning from him?
It was fun. It was actually really fun. Like he's strong. Like I had to guard him the whole game. Like he's a big dude. He's hard to stop, but I mean, I think I did like a pretty decent job for the time, like the times I was guarding him,
Mhm.
like just learning how to like stay in front of him, and like when he sized me up, my teammates like they did good with help defense and stuff, and it was fun going against him on defense too.
Did he talk to you at all? Have you guys had a bond off the court before?
We trained over the summer in the same program,
Mhm.
BTY, but like we didn't really talk. We just kind of worked out with each other and like went against each other.
As I mentioned, now he's moving on. If you ultimately decide to stay back and come back, this could be the same kind of shoes you follow, possibly winning back-to-back state championships, putting on a big-time show. How do you look to be able to kind of take over your area though, now that he's out there and kind of become the guy, or at least one of the guys, the biggest guys out there?
Definitely feels great. Like I'm really looking forward to, next year is my time. Like we're gonna take over next year. Like before coach left, he said we saw Westlake. We played our last game was actually at Westlake and we
Mhm.
saw them hold up the district champ sign. And coach told me he said that's gonna be us next year. And I said, let's do it.
Without a doubt. Well, a huge thing though, when at the end of the day is your recruiting process, and you are, as I said, a top 50 ranked player. You have offers from a couple different schools right now. Take us through how that's looking and what you feel about the offers you have so far.
I got four offers right now: IUPUI, U of H, SMU, and Oklahoma State. Those are just all blessings. Like I'm like thanks to all the coaches that have given me a chance to play basketball at this school. I just like getting those offers just makes me feel like I want to work harder. Keep going because like I can't settle now because I know there's guys out there working every day. So I just feel like I got to work harder.
Let's go into some of those schools. A big one I think I can imagine right now would be staying not in home, but it's pretty close to it in terms of being in Houston. SMU, same story, but for Houston staying in Texas, what would that be like going with Coach Sampson in that program? What do you like about them?
I like the style of play. I've actually been watching them a few games and like they're doing really good this year.
Hmm.
One of my homeboys, Jamal Shed, he
Hmm.
just recently committed there and he's doing well for his freshman season. But I like how they play fast and they got like a lot of players like me, just tall, long guards. And honestly, staying in Texas, I wouldn't mind that because I'm close to home.
Hmm.
And honestly, learning that type of style of play, like get after it on defense type, I think that would be good for me.
They're not a high major program. We know they're not necessarily always regarded as that, but they built up to now where they are a top 10 team for practically the entire year now. And they play, as you said, a different kind of brand of basketball. It's all about toughness, aggressive. A lot of dogs are all on that team. What would that kind of atmosphere be like? What would they just being around a bunch of other guys that have that competitive drive and that dog in them?
I think it'd be great. I think they would like hold me to a standard that could only like make me like a better player.
Hmm.
And honestly, just like I think guys like that, they would push me. And like I could be the best version of myself.
Another school is Oklahoma State, and that's a huge one. We know they're typically a top 25 team throughout the course of this year too, but they're really, really young. They have a young core. We know Cade will probably move on to one and done, top three, possibly number one pick next year. But a lot of that core is gonna be staying around. So what do you like about that core and a lot of the young guys out there?
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really got the chance to watch him, but I have heard, like you said, he's been doing like great things
Hmm.
up there at Oklahoma. But honestly, I like the coach. Like I like the like I've been reading up on him. I like how he like coaches the team, how he moves the pieces and stuff. And honestly, I could kind of see myself playing like running through his offense.
Let's get into SMU a little bit. They're too another program that has been had a pretty solid year too. They have a lot of big time guys too. I think a couple of them are pro prospects right now. What do you like about SMU? There's that team. I know they have a lot of hometown guys too from Texas. What do you like about them?
I like well to start. I like the school. Like I like the way like I haven't actually been there, but I've heard good things about the school and like the programs that they have to offer for academic wise. And I actually haven't got a chance to see them play at all this year.
Hmm.
But from I know a guy Westlake named Darius McBride. He went to SMU, and I've heard he likes like the style of play and like the way he coach runs his offense. And I just need to take a look, to be honest.
You talked a little bit about possibly staying close to home, staying in Texas. Is that appealing to you? Is that something that would actually hold any kind of value to you when you come down to your decision?
Hmm. That would actually, I mean, part of me wants to get out of Texas, to like see what's around. But
Mhm.
honestly, I prefer to stay home.
Now, when we talk about that, you have a lot of different conferences out there in Texas. We know it's a huge state. You guys got schools in the Big 12, you got schools in the SEC, you got schools all over the place. Is there a conference that you watch that you think you might identify best with or kind of play the best in?
Big 12, definitely Big 12.
Absolutely. Now, we know in Texas as a whole, though, your 2023 class is loaded. There's a ton of guys. Right now, I think you're the fourth or fifth ranked player in Texas, but there's guys that are exceptional from top to bottom in that state. Is there anyone you've talked to, though, that you really enjoy playing with in 2023?
Um, my teammate Caden Gums, he's our point guard. He's underrated, but he's definitely one of the top players in Texas. Like me and him, we've been playing together since like pre-K, and he's always had my back. Like playing with him is just he's like a brother to me. It's been amazing.
And you've kind of grown up with a lot of these guys, played against them all. Who's some of your favorite guys you go up against in the 2023 class in Texas?
Um, definitely, definitely KJ Lewis. He's tough, and Ron,
Hmm.
the whole Dry Nation squad. Really, they were fun to play against.
Absolutely. Well, let's kind of get into AU. We know it's coming up soon now. Last year, you guys got some AU stuff in, but it wasn't a full year. But how excited are you to be able to go out there and hopefully have a full circuit and a full season?
I'm pumped. Like it's gonna be a movie. Like last year, like it was a big letdown because it got canceled because of COVID. But
Mhm.
this year, I think everybody's like just been waiting. Like and everybody's gonna like take this opportunity and take advantage of it and give it all they got. So I'm looking forward to it.
I don't believe that you have exactly picked a school year or an AU program yet, but who are some of the options you're looking at right now? Who's some of the teams you could possibly be seeing you wearing and repping in a few months?
Houston Hoops definitely one of them. JL3 is a maybe. There's been talk like I've been talking with pro skills, but I don't know if I'm probably gonna stay down in Houston, but it's really just those two teams that I have to decide.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to get into your family a little bit because you have your sister that's also a McDonald's All-American nominee. What's it just been like growing up with someone else that plays basketball and kind of grow up in a basketball family?
It's really fun. My dad, he's from South Carolina. He played JUCO at Texas State.
Hmm.
He's he started with me and my older sisters to like we used to go to this really old beat up gym when we were little, and we just spent hours just working on the basics, fundamentals, ball handling. And it's been ups and downs. There's been some days I didn't want to go work out, but he pushed me, and my sister she'd also push me. And honestly, I think it's really just turned out like for the best of us.
Growing up, what would you say is your favorite memory with your sister on the court?
Mm. Uh, I think it was actually this year at the beginning of the season.
Hmm.
She she was coming off the screen and she snatched back and the girl fell and her shoe fell off, and then she made the shot. That was probably like my favorite moment ever.
Growing up and imagining you guys have both played one on one a lot, probably even today still play it. How does games typically go?
I always win. Should never beat me.
Without a doubt. Well, a lot of people might have seen some parts of your game, especially people closer to where you live, but on the national stage, not all people are familiar with you yet. Kind of describe your game. What do you bring to a team?
Definitely my ability to run the floor, play long, and like this season I developed a shot, so now I'm a pretty consistent outside shooter. My mid range game is there, and I stepped it up on defense too. So you can like put me on the solid players, and like I'm not a liability on defense.
You're able to run the forward spot, but also guard spot. You are a big guard when you do that because you're 6'6", 6'7" now, still growing. How do you plan to develop though? Do you plan on wanting to run a forward long term? Do you think you can be a guard? What kind of is the place you see yourself developing into position wise?
I would say more of a 3 guard, 2 guard, because I know like playing at a D1 stage, you got guys at 7 foot,
Mhm.
like 7 foot, 6'8", 6'8" guards and the 6'11" fours, you know. So I probably want to develop my outside game a little bit more because I don't see myself playing the post.
And you're pretty young. A lot of guys these days are getting held back and stuff, but you are young. You're for your age. Take us through that now. How's it been adjusting to being a younger player for your age?
Um, I would say I got ready for it because all
Mhm.
summer we were just playing 17U, 17U, 17U. So like when school came around, it was just like playing in the summer league. It was just normal.
Without a doubt. Now you are super lengthy too, and that's going to be something you could grow into. Obviously, add muscle and weight as time goes on. But what's the ceiling for you? What's a player you think you play a lot like, or maybe even compare yourself to?
Hmm. I would say kind of like a D'Angelo Russell kind of like a little shifty. He's not. I wouldn't say like lengthy because I don't want to go like KD because KD is like he's a little too tall. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to like see myself playing like D'Lo.
I know also there's been crazy weather out there in Texas, and you posted recently about the snow. What's it been like adjusting to the new snow life?
It's different. Most definitely different. The power kept going out. Water is running low. It was fun, but it's it's just something you don't get a lot in Texas. So a lot of people were shocked and stores were empty. It was fun actually.
I'm in Arizona, so we don't get much snow, or we had never really get snow either. But that first day, I can imagine probably was exciting to see snow come down. What was that
Mhm.
original reaction, and when it, did it ever happen? They kind of got tired of it.
The first day was fun. You know, everybody was outside playing snow, and then when it started snowing again, and like power started going out, that's when all the smiles went away. Everybody was like, "Oh, like wow, this is what snow is."
Absolutely. Well, you have a couple things in your bio I want to touch up on too. One of which is LE. Kind of take us through what that means.
Oh, long live Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I still remember the day I found out he died. That was heartbreaking. I didn't talk to anybody for the rest of the day because Kobe he's definitely one of those players like that I watched growing up, looking up to, and to see him go, it was sad. So I just like play the game for him now in respect out of Kobe. So I just made sure to like show my respect by putting his name in my bio.
That's big time. Well, a few more things before I let you go. One of which is discussing legacy. It's always something like wrapping up with. So, by the time you walk away from the game someday, what do you ultimately want to be remembered for what you achieved both on and off the court?
I just I want to be remembered as a good player on and off the court, like you just said, like just a good person in general. You know, I'm not really like the type to go at people, like talk mess, unless you come at me first. But most of the time, I'm just chill. Like I respect everybody. If you cool, I'm cool. That's how I want to be remembered.
I can also imagine it's pretty cool. I know rankings aren't the biggest thing for guys, but you did come in recently on the first 247 rankings in the top 50. Take us through how you learned about that and what your reaction was to seeing yourself ranked.
It was great. It was great seeing me ranked, but honestly, 47 is good, but I feel like I could do better. You know, so I took time to celebrate, but then I got right back to work because honestly, it don't stop there.
Without a doubt, man. Well, I know you're also a believer, so kind of discuss your faith a little bit and how God's helped get you to the point you're at today.
Yeah, God's been a big help. You know, like
Mhm.
everything I do goes through God. Like I remember my coach. like every game day he would have a devotional speech. We bring a pastor in and he give us devotionals, and he would talk about how there was a cross on the ball, and he said, "Do all things through Christ." And so we just like took that like into our hearts, and we just played everything through God. Like we did everything through God. We prayed before every games, and we just balled out.
And that's a huge thing to be obviously still young in life, but where would you say you've seen God work the biggest in your life so far?
Definitely with this whole COVID situation,
Mhm.
God's watched over my family. I know a lot of people have lost family members, and I don't we haven't lost any yet due to COVID. So I thank God for that. And he's been watching over my family.
Now, as you get bigger and bigger, you start going through high school, you go to college, pros, you're gonna get a bigger and bigger profile and platform. How do you plan to be able to continue to spread God's light and be His light in the world while you get a bigger and bigger platform?
Just set an example. I want to set a good example for younger people and even for the older people through God.
Amen, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, and I look forward to see what God got next for you, man.
Appreciate you.
Of course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless.
God bless you too.